Right, we have got question A. It's a trinomial quadratic expression. So the first thing you got to check is whether you see a factor which is common to all three terms here. There is no factor which is common to all three terms. So then the solution we have is we got to, or the technique we can use is factorizing by grouping. So in order to do that, we need at least four terms. So let's convert this expression to an expression with four terms. How do we do that? 3y squared minus 10 would come as it is. We got to replace minus y with something equivalent to it. How do we decide to how do we decide with what should be replaced minus y? For that, we got to multiply the first term by the last term. That's 3y squared multiplied by minus 10, which gives us minus 30y squared. So now you got to write the combinations or multiplication bonds that would give you minus 30y squared. So definitely one number has to be plus, one number has to be a minus, because plus into minus is what gives you minus. And also don't forget the fact that when you add the two numbers you write, it should result in minus y or minus 1y. Minus y means minus 1y. So since the minus has to win when you add, the bigger number has to be minus and the smaller number has to be plus. So smaller number 1, bigger number 30. 1 times 30 is 30. And when you add, it would result in a minus answer. But the problem is, would it give us minus 1? There's 1 and 30. The gap between 1 and 30 is 29. So that would give us minus 29. But what we are looking for is minus 1y. So it doesn't work. Another combination would be plus 2y into minus 15y. The addition would be minus 13y. No, it doesn't work. Plus 3y into minus 10y. Gap between 3 and 10 is 7. Plus 5y times minus 6y. Alright, it works. Because gap between 5 and 6 is 1. So plus 5 minus 6. When we add, we get minus 1. So we'll replace minus y with something equivalent to it. What is it equivalent? What is the equivalent thing to it? Plus 5y minus 6y. So now 3y squared and plus 5y. What's common? Y is common. What goes in? 3y. Because y times 3y give us 3y squared plus 5. Then comes the minus sign. You got to write that minus as it is. 6 and 10, 2 times table. So 2 times 3y minus 5. When you compare the black with the white term, you see that 3y plus 5 is appearing in both, which is the common factor. 3y plus 5 is the common factor. It goes out. And what comes in, what outside, or what is not written in, what you write in the rest of the items. That's y minus 2. Next one, 3y squared minus 75. Both 3 and 75 comes in the 3 times table. So 3 is the common factor. Y squared minus 25. Now, we can convert what's inside the brackets to a difference of two squares. Why? Because 25 can be written as 5 squared. So then 3 times, how do you factorize the difference of squares? Y plus 5, y minus 5. Alright, let's look at the next one. Y cubed minus y was a common factor. Y is common. Y squared. Y times y squared gives you y cubed minus y times what would give us y? That's y times 1. Now inside the brackets can be converted to a difference of two squares. Y squared minus 1 can be written as what? 1 squared, because 1 squared is 1. So the y would be coming as it is outside the brackets. But inside the brackets what we have is a difference of two squares, which can be factorized as what? Y plus 1, y minus 1. So the final answer is y times y plus 1 times y minus 1.